You know the song? This particular song? It's called Horse and Carriage by Cameron and Mace.
Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Mace. Shout out to It Is What It Is podcast doing great things. And you are now watching Steady Mobbin episode I do not remember, and I probably don't care.
It'll be right here in the description eventually. We'll fix it up.
We have a special guest with us.
Who?
We have a busy day today.
Who?
And Black Mob hit me up, and he asked me, are you down for another interview? I'm like, who? He's like, Idman wants to come by. And I asked him, am I balding? The answer is yes. Terribly. Bring her through.
You're balding like 20 years ago, dude. What are you talking about?
Stop hair shaming, okay?
Oh my God.
Her sultry vocals combined with her hard-hitting beats makes her one of the top upcoming and rising R&B and pop sensations that this country has to offer. Please make some noise for Idman. Yeah.
Just burped and it's like patty everywhere. I'm so sorry.
I smell. Hold on. Is that veggie patty?
Please. Right now.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for pulling up.
Of course.
I'm just curious. I always wanted to ask you, like, where'd you go for high school?
I went to high school in Kenya.
In Kenya?
Yeah, I went to an all-girls school called Arya Girls Secondary.
Are you a girl?
No, Arya Girls.
Oh, okay.
Arya Samaj. Like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. No, that was an honest mistake. No.
Wow.
Okay. What was that experience like?
I think it was like necessary. I got sent there after being like a really badass kid in junior high, and so it calmed me down for sure. I had done like failed attempts at anger management classes and stuff, and it was like a really great way for me to just calm down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, I was following you for a while because I like your music, and
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I saw one day you posted a picture of you in a hijab.
Mm-hmm.
What year was that in?
I posted a picture of me in a hijab. That might have been when I was in undergrad, living in Maine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. A transition between not wearing a hijab and wearing a hijab. How was the external and internal, like, well, what were you feeling at the time, if you don't mind me asking? You can skip over it if you'd like, but like, were you like, was it an internal conflict? How was it external influences for you as well?
Not really. I think the concept of hijab is something that I really, really respect, and I think that it's a really like feminist concept, and I think I like the bones of the ethos around what hijab means. And I grew up with like a family and parents that didn't enforce or impose anything, and when I was going to undergrad in Maine, I was around a lot of family that did, and I was in an area where a lot of folks were, and I think I was just in a time of not wanting to assimilate, but wanting to also be respectful, and also get to know this like concept that has always really interested me. And I think I tell folks all the time, like, I think I still have hijabi eras in me, like locked and loaded, waiting. It's probably something I'm going to interact with a lot in my life, and I think that's not like unique either. I know a lot of folks in similar boats to me that still feel the same way too. I think I'm in relationship with hijab.
Yeah.
Did you say it was a feminist concept?
Yeah, I think so. I think the idea of like enforcing bodily autonomy and deciding what parts of you people get to experience or what parts of yourself you even get to show people, especially in a world that like loves hyper-surveillance and all those things. I think hijab is really dope and cool in those ways, and it's a way for folks to feel in their body, you know? So in a lot of ways, I so respect it, and I so love what it means for folks. And I ride for my hijabis, and my hijabis ride for me, you know? I think some of my, like, biggest supporters, especially, like, post coming out, and the folks who, like, will go to war for me are hijabis, and I don't think that's by accident. I think that...
Dope.
Do you, did you, now, like, you being of Somali descent, and, like, Somalia is, like, overwhelmingly Muslim, did you face like nasty messages on IG or any other social media from like randoms?
Well, my team and I did a really good job at like I think we had like 150 word long list, like of just like slurs and stuff we'd blocked out, and like words that just won't show up
on your IG feed.
Yeah, on anything.
Oh.
And so unless people are like getting creative with spelling or whatever, I've been lucky that I haven't really gotten to see a lot. And the cool thing is, I don't care.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I think that, I don't know, I keep telling my friends I'm in my Ellen DeGeneres era where all the freaking Somali moms I know, everybody's mom, everybody's auntie loves that lady.
Yep.
They die for
Same
that
thing.
lady.
Yeah,
And whenever I name queer people that people in my family or people around me know, they're always just like, oh shit, yeah. And I think that sometimes we decontextualize folks in a way where we don't see all of them, but we know them. And so these are folks that people see every day and love and are obsessed with. And I think that in coming out, I was just like, I'm not going to bow my head and hide. It's just not going to be a thing. I'm going to clunk my meanness over everybody's head. You know what I mean? They're going to like me. I've grown up my whole life as like someone who people have considered body, and like I'm warm. I don't really got like beefs like that. I don't bother no one. I don't leave my house. Like I'm really to myself. And I think that if someone doesn't like me because they don't like me, fine. But you're not gonna dislike me because of like who I choose to lay with. That's so lame. That's so whack. You know.
I agree.
Now, I wanted to ask: is it the way that you shape your reality? Is there any other keywords that you're blocking out? Like for me, I block out the Kardashians. I don't see anything Kardashians in my feed anywhere. And it's been like that for 10 years.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you're blocking out as well? Like any?
Just like people that annoy me for sure. Like I think like if
Andrew Tate. You won't see any of his feeds.
I don't see his stuff. I didn't block his name out, but I think the curation of my algorithm has been good enough where the folks I like to watch don't like stuff like that, so it doesn't pop up for me.
Cool.
And yeah, I don't know. I think about like people like Andrew Tate as like a mosquito. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
bloodsucker.
Yeah, and you're gonna get squashed out at some point. And I don't know. I think about when I think there was a time where I did focus on stuff like that, like the Candace Owens or whatever, and I've like literally had to teach myself how to like redirect my energy into like. Like I don't want to teach people how to like me or how to treat my folks. I'd rather pour into my folks. So like, oh, Andrew Tate pissed me off. How can I go help someone that looks like me or like someone that would be affected by some shit that he's doing? Like, how do we counteract that energy in real time?
Nice. You mentioned coming out. What was that like? What was that process like? I guess coming out to your family first, and then you came out. I guess maybe officially in your music video. Still.
Oh, no, I came out with my music video.
With your music. You came to your family?
Yeah. Everybody.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
the only person who knew beforehand was my dad. I wrote him a letter, and I gave it to him the day before the video dropped. Yeah.
And if you don't mind sharing with us, what was his response?
I think it was, like, melancholy. Like, I think it was just a lot of processing. I think... Which I'm not, like, mad at. You know what I mean? Like, I'm asking this person to engage with thinking about a world and a life that they've never considered before. And I think that there's always going to be, like...
apprehension?
Yeah, and there's always going to be that... There's going to be, like, a catch-up process, you know what I mean? And, like, I've had the ability to, like, live here and absorb information and be on Tumblr for years to figure out who I am and what my place in this world is. And I think that I'm asking this person to do it in real time. And I want to be graceful with him and gentle with him. And my dad's a rock star. Like, I lucked out lottery-wise with my father. I have the best dad ever, really supportive of my music. And, yeah, like, that's my dog. That's my bestie, you know? And no one on this earth knows me more than him or better than he does. And I did it for him. Like, I think he deserves to be able to love me unconditionally in this lifetime. And I think I deserve to see that, and I owe it to him to see that.
Oh, daddy's girl. I love it.
Are you closer to mom or dad?
My mom passed when I was really young, and so he raised me. That's why, like, me and my dad are like this. Like, when my mom passed away before puberty, so like my dad was my first bra, my first like prom dress. Like, he was everything. And so that's coming out. I genuinely feel like the sturdiness and who I am as a person, and like I walk with, I think, a specific personal power that is that man through and through. And so I know he rocks with me, and I know we'll always rock together. I feel really, really good about the fact that there is no societal or cultural pressure that's gonna fuck with that bond. Like, we've seen ups and downs together. Like, we've seen things together, and that's my homie.
So the still video, Like, what was you thinking? Like, this is going to be the song, I do this. And
it was rough. I went back and forth, like, so much. We had been talking about this months prior. Like, me and my entire team, my label, everybody was like, we were having really intentional conversations about what it would mean and what it would look like and how we wanted to do it. I went back and forth. Like, we were auditioning people and, like, sending photos back, or casting, I should say. And we were casting femmes. Like, we were looking at pictures of femmes. And every single time, like, we would get close to something, I'd be like, oh, nope, not that one, not this one, not that one. And then, like, the week prior, I was like, fuck it, never mind. We're going to use my trainer, Jerome, who's, like, this 6'3", former NFL player, bodybuilder. And we're going to just, cosplay. I'm going to cosplay as a liquor straight girl.
Wow.
And shout out to, like, my team and the universe and God. We had recorded a song called Beach that's on my project. And we had made the first line, I know you're somebody's girlfriend. And I knew that if we kept that line, when that project came out, July 17, I would be out. Like, it would be a thing now. Yeah. And so we kind of had, like, a ETA. Like, we're like, oh, by this time, I have to figure out a way to do it in my own words, in my own terms.
That's cool.
Yeah. Wow. And was there any negative feedback when you did that? Did people, say she's clout chasing, or she's trying to ride the coattails of, the movement to forward her career? Was there any backlash to you?
I think definitely there was, like, backlash for sure, but not on the a clout chasing tip. I think I'm the first. You know what I mean? It's historical that we did this, and we don't have. I was talking to my uncle about this. There's not a single, like, we have so many Somali people in the cultural zeitgeist. We have models, Olympians, like, musicians, and in my father's lifetime, in my own lifetime, we've never seen an out Somali person, which is so wild to me. And so I'm the first out Somali R&B singer in the cultural zeitgeist with a music video that has Vivo stamped on it. It felt archival to me, like, to document this. And I did it for, like, all my queer Somali homies who are creatives in other fields too. I just think we deserve it. And I think, Simone said that it's an artist's duty to be reflective of the times, and this is just me responding to my responsibility and duty as an artist. I think that this shit, I have diagnosed social anxiety. This shit makes me feel like I'm about to combust on a daily basis. And so to confront the fact that I'm doing this shit at the expense of my own comfort, it has to feel worth it. And so,
absolutely,
like, having a femme for femme video directed by a black director, like, with a crew that looked like what it looked like on set.
I'm glad you didn't cosplay, though.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy I didn't cosplay. We made the decision that morning on set. Like, Jerome was there, like, ready to do this.
Wow. He was there.
Wow.
So the one of the people that were being cast also works for the production company. So she just was on set, like, helping set up. And so we had, like, a mini huddle that morning where, like, my team was just like, girl, are we doing this? 'Cause she's here. Like, it feels kismet.
Right.
And yeah, shout out to Natalia, our incredible leading lady. She ate, and she was, like, the perfect person to walk me through that. Our director, City James, he's Muslim as well, and so I had a few good cries on set, and he held my hand in a way that made me feel so comfy. And I'm so happy. Like, we don't really get to see femme for femme love, like, in a really sweet, romantic way.
I loved it.
It's through, like, this, like, hyper-sexualized gaze all the time, and it feels really, like, pornographic almost. And I was like, I just want to show love, and I want to show sweetness and gentleness, and I want to show folks that, dog, take us out. Like, you make us avatars, and anybody could understand what we're singing about and feeling in this song. And I wanted to also show people, like, y'all been singing hate this whole time, and I wrote that about a trans person. Nobody knew, you know what I mean? And no one was at their house thinking, oh, I can't relate to this, so I'm going to stop singing it because it was about XYZ. No, the minute we put this stuff out, it's everybody's. Yeah. And it should feel applicable, because I love writing love songs because it's so universal. Like, we all know what that shit feels like. And it should be, we should be able to, like, contextualize it in a way that doesn't feel, you know what I mean? Like, weird.
Got it.
Now, why do you feel the need? I'm sorry. Well, it is going to be a question about, like, Toronto and, like, moving around. Why do you feel the need to leave Toronto and spend most of your time in Vancouver? Do you feel the Canadian scene isn't intricate enough for you to grow?
Oh no, I live in Los Angeles now.
That's your base.
That's my base. Yeah, I've been in Los Angeles for the last, like, 3 years, 4 years.
3 years now? Okay.
When I did Remix in 2018.
Okay.
And so I haven't lived in Toronto as an adult, like, in my life. Like, I only did that 1 year of Remix. But I left Toronto when I was 13 years old to go to school in Kenya and then to go to school in Portland. I was so happy and honored to be in Toronto. And I feel like Remix felt like such a gift because I got folks like Rich and like Ricky and everyone over there to like kind of teach me about and like kind of show me the ropes around like historically what the musical landscape and the cultural landscape of the city has been. It's stuff that I've seen growing up, but also like I think you have a newer appreciation when you leave and come back. And I did my year at Remix, and my goal always was to be a songwriter. Like, I applied for Remix as a songwriter, and they switched me to the artist development thing midway. And then me and my best friend, like, she was working in social work and was designing an app, a bathroom accessibility app. For like folks to be able to find accessible bathrooms for folks with wheelchairs or gender inclusive ones, and like diaper stuff, like a really like practical idea. And we both were like, okay, we don't know what we're gonna do. We were gonna move to Oakland at first, just because Oakland has a really great social justice scene and it's close enough to California where music is made. But then like last minute, we had done like we went to a conference in Oakland, and we just felt like maybe this isn't the city for us right now, just because the city was going through so much. And we like a week or two before going, and right when I finished Remix, I was telling everyone the last week, not even knowing how it was going to happen. I was like, oh, I'm moving to LA. And then 2 weeks after Remix finished, we packed up a car and drove from Maine to LA, and we're like living in our car. No idea what we're doing. No connections, like no nothing.
Wow.
I was like, I want to go there to be a songwriter, and if the universe thinks I should do it, then we'll figure it out.
It's amazing.
What's LA like? How's it been?
I think if you asked me my first year or my second year there, I'd have been like, I fucking hate it here. It's the worst. But I feel like I found my rhythm with the city now, and I think it's really good for my mental health. I'm like my internal clock. I don't know if it's called like I forget what it's called, but there's that clock that folks have that tells them when to wake up and stuff.
Sure.
I have sleep disorders, and it's like the first city where I can sleep through the night, and I like am in tune with like the sun, and I can go to sleep and I can wake up when the sun comes up, and it's really hard to be sad when it's sunny all the time.
Are you spending your time on Venice Beach?
I'm always at the beach. I like Malibu Beach better.
Okay.
I used to sleep on Malibu. Like when we were like living in our car, that's where we would park and sleep in our car in Malibu. And I still go to the same beach. I used to sleep at like three or four times a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you signed?
Yeah, I'm signed to.
Who you signed to?
Sony Arista in the U.S.
Sony Arista.
Big shout out to that.
Hey.
Shout out to that.
Shout out Arista.
How did that deal happen?
That deal happened. I'm like trying to figure out how do I map this out. That deal happened because I had tried to like make my way as a songwriter, and everybody was like, we are not going to fund anything you're doing if you're not singing the songs. Like everybody was like, we think you should sing the songs. I've never considered myself a strong singer ever. Like I'm not trained. I don't have the best ear. I don't know a lot about musical theory or musical vernacular. It's just not natural for me. And so I also am really shy, so it never made sense to me why people were like, you should sing. I was just like, I'm not someone who wants to. I've never been someone who wants to hold the mic or be at the center of anything. And so I don't know. It was the singer thing was the thing that was working, and I was like, I would like to be in an apartment. I would love to have a roof over my head. I would love to know I'm not eating Little Caesars tomorrow. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that $5 pan. And so at first it was like, this is how I'm going to survive. And then when the Arista deal happened, because at the time we basically had started this like co-op amongst our homies during the pandemic of just I'd gotten like a grant to make a project, and when I made that project, I hit up Rich and was like, hey, this grant body said that they'd be able to fund a project for me if I could finish one song to add to the application, because my entire time at Remix I didn't finish a song. Like, I was just not that girl. Like, I was not committed to being a singer. Like, songwriting was the thing for me. I wrote for, I think, almost everybody in my round. Wow. But I just was not fucking with finishing my own ideas for myself. And so I hit up Rich. I was like, hey, I might have, like, a place to stay if I finish a song. Can I come? And Rich and a pregnant Annalie Bonda at the time figured out and finessed for me to be able to, like, go to studios after dark and, like, sneak me into places. And I'd been pursued by one label. And so me and my friends were like, I have like 200 followers on the internet, and I come from the world of like organizing. And so movement building feels familiar to me. And I just was like, okay, it's a global pandemic. I know how to talk. I'm not really secure in like the music part of this thing. But the business part feels really enticing and interesting. And I had met like 2 really great lawyers who were like, oh, we're down to help you and support you. And so I was like, okay, how do I like interact with this industry in a way that makes me feel not sick to my stomach? And so we just designed our ideal dream deal, basically, that included like healthcare for our entire team. It included visas paid for our entire team.
Come
not just
on.
myself.
Wow.
Let's go.
I kept my intellectual property, so I own my masters, I own my pub. I own
Yeah.
my
Hey.
village.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Really,
Big shout out.
really short term, really low distribution fee. And we just were like, we were shopping stuff around. And I think that when one label's interested, other labels get interested. And we were just trying to figure out where our home would be. And luckily, Arista is like, Arista was the label that other labels were referencing when they were like talking to us. They were like, oh yeah, like we love the marketing here. And this is like we're trying to use the Arista route. And I was like, oh my God, if everybody's referencing this one group, I might as well go see about what they're doing over there. And the man who signed me, his name is David Massey. He's an incredible human being, like just a prolific background, the predecessor to Clive Davis, signed Jesse Reyes, signed Shawn Mendes. Like, he's really shown up for Canadians and knows Canadians well. He signed Avril, you know what I mean?
Shout out David Massey.
Hey,
Yo,
David
pull up on our
Massey.
show.
Yeah. And
Is he Canadian, by the way?
no, he's British. He's British.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. His mom managed Lulu, the lady who did like To Sir with Love, and like he's just he's prolific in his history with Oasis. Like he's just a dope person, and he was someone who really championed me and was like, oh, you want this like crazy deal? Like let's figure out how to give it to you, and let's figure out how to get creative about it. And I think that he's put together an incredible team over there. Like I'm obsessed. When we were looking to get signed, we would make like little PDFs of like who worked at the different labels, what their history was, and it's just not normal. He was able to bring together the Avengers over there, and so I feel really proud that we were like within a year of being in LA, we signed to Arista. So that feels
Dope.
Yeah.
Did you have a musical upbringing at home?
My mom and dad were they did event planning, and my mom was a wedding planner, and so I didn't really sing in front of folks very much, but I grew up around it so much. I was so obsessed with the idea of performance, and I got to watch legends every weekend do their thing, and so music was around me. It wasn't anything that, you know what's crazy? You're Somali, so do you know Nkrumah?
Who?
Nkrumah?
Yes, I do.
Yes, so I have like footage at my 5th birthday of Nkrumah my mom was extra, of Nkrumah doing gabay and doing a burambur for me. And she was like, she's going to be a singer one day. She's going to be a star. She's going to live in Los Angeles. There's going to be billboards of her.
Wow.
Saying all these things, my mom is blushing like, stop. And so shout out to A and Nkrumah. She saw Alana Haristo. And I feel like, it was around me, but I don't know that I saw it for myself. I wanted, like in college, I was like trying to study music marketing and communications and stuff, because I was like, even if I never tell anyone I want to do this, I want to be in proximity to it.
That's amazing.
Rich Kid, how'd you guys connect?
Rich was my program director at Remix, and he also was like one of the first people I ever sang in front of, and he did my audition. I was shaking my little ass off because the audition room was just like filled with just like people that were like one person removed from Drake or one person removed from this big Canadian star, and like I did Canadian Idol, and there was kind of a lot of like, well, what are you doing?
You know what? I kind of remember you now on Canadian Idol.
Oh my God.
I do remember you now.
Oh my God.
Vaguely, yeah, I do now. It's crazy.
My God. They were like saying all these things, and I was just like, yeah, I've never done anything. I've never sung on a mic before. I always say, like, a mic never saw me. I never saw a mic. But I went into the room and was shaking my little butt up and was so nervous and told Rich that I was, like, kind of freaking out. And he gave me, like, 15 extra minutes to just, like, talk, to, like, acclimate to my settings and stuff. And when it came out that I got into the project or the program, I latched onto him because he really quickly became a safe person for me. And so, like, he was one of the first people that I told I was trans. He was, like, pressing people about speaking to my pronouns. And something I like to speak to whenever I mention Rich, too, is that, like, I come from the world of academia, and that's how I came into my political ideology and the way that I think. And, like, Rich has that in him. It's, like, an innate thing. Like, he was a protector, an ally. He was so curious. Like, most of our sessions, part of why I didn't finish any songs were because we were literally having so much political conversations and, like, challenging each other. And I think that like I am so different for my friendship with him, and I can see such a difference in him too. That's my dog for real, like my family.
Shout out to Rich Kid. Musical influences. Who are they?
I think as a kid, everyone's Somali, so like Mughal, Nagruma, like I said, Lul Jailani, Shimali, Ahmed Shimal. I still listen to Shimali so much. And on a contemporary.
What's so funny?
These are all the names that my mom and dad would listen to and all that stuff. It's a cool thing. It's like a walk down memory road for me.
Yeah, literally. And I was always obsessed. And I think now on a contemporary basis, like I'm inspired by Black women, period. I think we're the most futuristic. We enforce and use the most radical imagination. I think I love Janelle Monáe. I love Solange. Seat at the Table is still one of my favorite projects of all time. Victoria Monet also is incredible. I love Jaguar. Shout out to Jaguar 2 just coming out. Everybody stream that. Yeah, the Kailanis of the world. Sophie. I love our hyperpop queens for sure. And yeah, I think shout out to the internet because there's infinite and abundant amounts of sources for inspiration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's been a debate on the internet, Beyonce versus Taylor Swift.
Oh Lord, yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think the conversation feels disrespectful. I think positing them against each other just feels really, really disrespectful. I think Taylor Swift is a machine, like a phenomenon, and I think that it's something worth studying, and also it's worth noting that like the intersections of her identity are ones that like don't make her success super shocking. You know what I mean? I think that we're shocked at the level it's gotten to for sure. But I don't think that like I'm surprised with looking at her that these things have happened. I think Beyonce feels like an anomaly of sorts. You know what I mean? It feels historical in a different way, you know. And I think that it's not fair. And if I were Beyonce, I would feel so just disrespected. I think that people love to discipline, make fun of, and like denigrate Black women on a public scale. And I think this is just another. The conversation feels a little derogatory to me.
It does.
And it feels reductive. Like, if I was Taylor, I'd be like, now why am I in it? You know what I mean? Why would you do that to me?
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair for her. I think it's like comparing apples and oranges, quite literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that conversation started with Andrew Schultz. I don't know if you know who that is.
Why are we asking that man anything?
It's crazy to me. I think when it was a conversation between him and Charlemagne on Brilliant Idiots. I think he's trolling everybody. I don't think he actually believes what he's saying.
I don't think a lot of these like folks are saying anything for like. I think you're right. I think they're saying a lot of the stuff for the sake of saying it.
They're trolling.
And like, shout out. This is my first podcast interview, but I do think we don't need just a gun buyback. We need a mic buyback. Like we need to like actually enforce like who can say certain things, who can speak to things. You know.
But I think in the hip hop culture, right, and you know, Andrew Schultz, there's a proximity there, right? In hip hop culture, we compare all the time, right? Jay versus Nas, Jada versus Fab, like we do it all the time. But I do understand where you're coming from because the first time I felt kind of uncomfortable with a conversation when it came to comparing legends was Michael Jackson and Bob Marley. And just to see the conversation that was happening in these chats,
that's wild to even have that conversation. It made
sense to me. Reductive, like these are two amazing figures, great in their own right. Like, what are we trying to establish here? And you know, eventually it just gets to like, you know, name calling, disrespect, and you know, Bob Marley didn't do this or Michael didn't do that. I'm just like, this is such a dumb conversation to have. So I absolutely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, play the track. You know what I mean? Like, why are we arguing? Can we listen to some Bob? You know what I mean? Like, it's so inefficient. We could be vibing right now.
Absolutely.
Not just vibing.
So, are you the people who make your beats? Is it in house?
Yeah, I think that literally all my first songs, like the first project I made, literally I only made with like Rich and my friend OTR in a room at Remix. And now I still work with Rich. I still work with OTR. We've introduced my A&R over at Arista into like my musical identity, and he EP'd this last project that I just did. And Chris is like I know my comfort with Chris comes from my comfort with Rich. You know what I mean? I think Rich undid a lot of like stories I told myself about who people in this industry would be like, and Chris is a brother to me. Like that feels like my real family. And they work together now too. Rich and Chris be working together. It's like a real family affair. And the people that worked on this project, all the people worked on every song. So like we have like 5 people that worked on it, and we all did every song. We like sat in a studio for a month basically at Chris's place, and basically chronologically figured out how to talk about my first ever heartbreak.
Wow. Still, did we talk about Still in this conversation, or was it the previous conversations? Because I don't remember.
I know we didn't talk about Still just yet. I think we started off with Still. You're all over the place. I think you're all over the place.
I'm like, was it this conversation or was it the last conversation?
No, it was the beginning. It was the beginning.
Okay.
Me trying to match y'all's professionalism and like say everything the same way is so wild. I'm trying to keep her.
Oh.
Yeah, well, thanks to Black Mob, the confusion here is a little chaotic.
But it's all good.
Let me rub it in.
If you were to like you're in LA, it's all about the
Oh yeah.
You want some Skittles?
Is that Skittles?
Yeah. I'm like making so much noise. Me trying to find
chicken.
Can I give it to you from my hand?
This is the Steady Mobbin Podcast.
Me trying to find
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I was trying to find the red ones. I like the red ones.
You gotta eat Skittles like this.
That's how you eat Skittles?
Not really.
You guys are wild. Who was your dream concert to go to?
My dream concert?
Yeah.
Right now it's Beyonce. I'm trying to get those Renaissance tickets.
You got that bread down. Come on.
Was it like $1,500 a ticket?
I think so. It's like an arm and a leg. No, actually, no. It was $1,500 a ticket. Now it's like it's somewhere like for down payment on a small home in Toronto or in Edmonton or something like that.
My dream concert.
Would she also be your dream collab? I mean, obviously.
I feel like that Beyonce. You know that one meme of Tiffany Pollard from New York when she was like telling that when I forget. I think her name was Pumpkin or no was it?
She's called New York. She was called New York at the time.
No, the girl that she was. One of the girls was like, everyone always tells me I look like Beyonce. And she's like, Beyonce, I'm so sorry. That's how I feel when people are like, is Beyonce your dream collab? I'm like, I'm so sorry that we're even having this conversation.
I know it's terrible.
If you could get one dream collab like
One?
that just one, who would it be? Would it still be Beyonce?
I don't even want to say that out loud. I feel like that's blasphemous. I feel like that's kind of wild. I feel like that's so.
How about 2 collabs? Beyonce get one. Who would be the other one?
Probably Janelle Monáe.
Okay, we shut them down.
Make some noise for Janelle Monáe. We want you on the podcast.
Yeah, and even I think Canadians too, like Drake. I would love to do a song with, and Justin Bieber. Like, I feel like those are like milestone moments for me. I think I love Justin's voice. A lot of the bridges on my project, I feel like, are so Justin coded. And even Avril. I think Avril Lavigne really.
That'd be really fire.
Avril inspired the hell out of Hate. Like, Hate is so Avril to me.
Yeah.
Like that pre-hook, the melody for the hook itself is so based on, like, do you remember that song from Princess Diaries, Breakaway?
Oh, yes, I do.
Kelly Clarkson?
Cap.
Avril
He doesn't
wrote that.
remember.
I do remember that.
Cap.
Dude, you were already 50 at that point. You were 50 at that point. So.
Fight back, y'all.
He was 50 at that point.
Age shaming. Okay, Hate. We didn't speak about Hate, right?
No, not yet.
Love that song.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'm assuming it was based on a real situation.
All of it is.
All of it.
Oh, the same situation. One situation.
Was that a hard song to write?
Yeah.
Because you were saying
I
some
could
real
tell.
shit in there.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Those tears were real. Like, I left it in that music video set. Was where I was like, okay, we're leaving the real catharsis, because we shot the video for Hate like right after recording it too. There was like, usually you have like months in between and then you have rollout. We did everything all at once and then planned rollout to do later. But it was great because I think everything was still a little fresh. Hate was hard. It was the first beat I heard for the project and like the last song we wrote, because when I heard it, it made me feel like it was as epic as I'm Pretty by TLC. And I was like, oh shit, like we're gonna have to really deliver. And I got to work with Chris. Is an incredible songwriter. Like, he did Snooze, like he's done like Ariana stuff. He's worked with all the R&B girlies, and he came up under Babyface and Antonio Dixon. And Antonio Dixon worked on this project and wrote on this project with us. And I said, man, that man did best thing I never had for Beyonce. You know what I'm saying?
that's
like,
wild.
And so I feel like,
Big shout out to that. Actually. That's a subtle flex for you guys.
oh my God.
That was a subtle flex.
Oh my God. No, but like, I felt really honored to be able to be around these like huge R&B heads who like value pen and value honesty. Like they really drilled in me that like all the biggest stars understand that for music to really touch people, like all the shit we hear about people just getting a demo and doing something to it, like people got to really feel that stuff. Like they have to pour themselves into this, and it has to feel palpable in that way. And so I felt honored that I got to be a sponge around these really great songwriters, and was like, okay, I want to get to the point where I can deliver on hate and like flex that pen. And it was so cool to sing the pre-hook and the hook to Mr. Antonio after doing the whole month of making those songs and being like, is this a good idea? And then being like, yes, like this is great. You know,
it's not triggering for you hearing that song, knowing that it's based around a real situation. And
I cried for days to the demo when we cut it, and I tried to give the song away twice. Like I was just thinking about all these bigger artists who should have it, and I was like, oh, this person would be
Who's
great.
in your mind?
LMA.
Okay. I can hear them both on it. Yeah, I can hear them both on it.
We should give this to Kehlani or LMA, and I just didn't think I was worth it, and I didn't think I was like a big enough artist to like honor. I felt like it felt so big, and I was proud of it. I was like, oh my God, it would be an honor if someone that big got on the song, because it would be more people got to experience the catharsis and the healing of the music. So as a service is how I was justifying it, but I do think that there's a level of like self-sabotage and like just like insecurity around like what you're worth and what you deserve. And I'm so happy Chris was like, hell no, like this is your song, like you should share it with the world. Like you don't sign to a major not to play, you know what I mean? And
absolutely.
So he was just like, I don't think that you don't want to do this, and I don't think you don't want this, and so like don't do yourself the disservice of counting yourself out before anyone else in the world does. And now I feel so lucky that we have it. Like I still cry when I perform it. It still does. I don't like listening to it when I'm
I can see the energy from you. It's pure.
Why is it better to have loved and lost than not to love at all?
Because I think that
Glory with the questions.
I think that I am not regretful, because I don't think I knew I could feel these things, and so it makes me believe in the unimaginable in a way that I would have never had without heartbreak. You know, like the fact that I couldn't imagine feeling this way about someone, it leaves me now with the question, like, what else can I not imagine that I can feel too? Like, how much deeper? I didn't know I could go this deep. How much deeper am I going to be able to go with the person I'm supposed to be with? You know, and I feel like that as a truth to walk with feels like I feel armed by heartbreak in a way. And so, yeah, way better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, because
Amazing.
I don't know, man, because I've loved and lost, and that shit hurts.
It hurts so bad, but I think that I'm still grateful. Like in the world is on fire. It's trying to kill us every single day. It gives us all the reasons in the world to be apathetic. I'm so grateful for butterflies. Like I have so much gratitude to when I feel good things. In this world as it is, the fact that anybody could take my mind off of the fact that this world is literally about to end before our eyes is such a thing to be grateful for. Like it's a pocket of joy that I feel like it was a favor from God.
Are you dating now? Are you single?
I'm single.
Yeah. Are you looking? Are you kind of just living your life? Are you looking for a relationship? Or are you just like, if something comes along that you think is worth your time, you're open to it?
I don't think I'm like actively pursuing love. I think I respect love enough to know that love is like a fated thing and it happens when it's supposed to happen. I'm single. I think I'll be single for a while. I think it's like good to be single, and I think it's good to know yourself. And yeah, like have there been people that I like or I talk to that I've dated? Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of in my raccoon era. I'm in my outside era right now. But I just think that you should also be compassionate enough to like let folks know what you're capable of. And I don't know that I have the capacity right now to show up in a relationship in the ways in which I would want someone to show up for me.
At least you're honest about it.
Facts.
Speaking of joy, Somali food.
Yes.
Ooh. Is there any eats out there in LA?
No.
No eats. So you got to go to San Diego if you need to.
Yes, and I've gone to San Diego. I've done that drive for food. There's a spot called Benadir.
I've been there.
In LA, but it's like a truck stop.
No. I'm sorry, but the one in San Diego.
Oh, I've never been to that one. But in LA, there's one truck stop. It's like, it's good. It's not bad. The uncle there is amazing.
Truck stop in LA, eh?
It's like a place for truck drivers to go to and stuff.
I see.
Yeah.
Where's it in LA?
It's in Inglewood.
Okay.
And it's great. I order from there all the time, but it's the only place you could go to. And I think I missed the variety of Toronto of like, oh, I could go to like a Somali like place for like sweets and like, you know what I mean? Just for like my little like hit the mouth, end of day snack, or I could go to like a restaurant, a sit down place, or I could go to a Somali takeout spot and go get like some takeout. You know what I mean?
You know the craziest thing? I have a story. I went to San Diego a couple years ago, and I went to a Somali restaurant. I walk in, and we order food. All I hear is the Somali guy saying, "Jose, Jose, come out and take this order real quick." Jose comes out, takes our order, and he's like, "I'm cooking the food for you guys." Mexican dude.
Well, even in Inglewood as well, at Benadir, the most of the chefs are also non-Somali.
It's crazy. And the Mexican dude just whipped the Somali food. I'm like, I can't even tell the difference.
And I think it's also because like a lot of our flavors are super similar. Like
yeah,
the cilantro,
cumin,
the jalapeno, the spice,
the hawash.
You know what I mean? I think, and it's still good. It's still hit. So. Speaking
of which, I'm such a foodie. If you notice,
we noticed.
Are you? What's your favorite spot in Toronto? When you come here?
It's closed now. It just shut down, and it's so people are gonna be like, "That's the spot you want to highlight." But listen, okay, it's nostalgia for me.
Which one's it called?
So I love. Whenever I come home, the first place I go is like the poutine spot that I used to go get like school lunches from when I was growing up.
Okay.
And they just shut it down. It was like family owned by this couple. It's been open since like the 70s or 80s.
Somali couple? No.
It's owned by a Korean couple in the hood.
Okay, but I'm talking about Somali food.
Oh, Somali food. Well, Double Goy is closed, right? No more.
I've never been there.
That was amazing. Their food was amazing. Their food was bomb. I think it burned down like a couple years ago or something. But I would say that they were top for me.
For real?
Yeah. Last time I was here, I think it's called Sahan.
Okay.
Sahan was good.
You like Sahan?
It was okay. Is it? You don't like it? Is it bad now? I don't know. When I came, it was like new, and everybody was like, "Oh my god,
No, it's not that great."
Okay. I don't know why you're pretending like you're interested in Somali food, because yesterday you told me you absolutely hate it and you prefer Italian.
This guy, the evil. Yeah, we talk. The villain. He's the villain.
He's been capping all conversation.
No.
And I gotta sit through this shit.
Who am I talking to?
He's wild.
Men's a
I want you to look at the camera and tell us real quick. Is it? Are you Bris or a boss girl? Or Bris or boss girl?
Oh my god. If it's from a restaurant, I'm a Bris girl, because I don't like pasta from Somali restaurants. I'm not fucking with the vibes. I feel like there's no like ruh, there's no like
soul.
Yeah, I don't know why they be doing that, but the Bris is always gonna hit. I'm a Bris girl for sure.
That's it, yo. If you didn't know it, I was asking her if she's a rice or a pasta girl.
I knew that. I know the lingo. Are there any narratives about Somali people you would like to speak to, dispel, kind of address anything out there?
I think like, Alexa, play it all up in your mind, because I think Somalis really are such a huge part of the cultural zeitgeist. Like I think
it is. We are truly are.
Twitter, like music, like just like culture folks who like speak to culture. I think a lot of our great writers are Somali. Like we're just in everything in a way that just makes me feel so proud, because we're this tiny country on the northeast coast of we're the Horn of Africa, and we have been just like through such abominable shit. You know what I mean? Like colonized by 5 different countries, bombed back to the Stone Age, basically. Like literally have gone through so much, and I think the fact that we're like, we believe so much in comedy and tragedy, and we're still like laughing, and we're still trying to find the joke in everything. Like I think that there's like this like, you know, we talk about like this like insidious online incel culture among Somalis, and like
incel is right.
You know what I mean? It is that, and I think that I want to speak to the fact that I also think Somalis are like great online too. You know what I mean? Like when I think about
biggest trolls.
And I love you more than my life. You know what I mean? Shout out.
I love that song. I showed my father that song, and he was like so happy, because like it's like he's watching young kids singing Somali words on TikTok. It was like,
she signed to like Universal. Or like
is she signed to Universal?
Yeah, Polydor now. No. Yeah, and like her deal was like organized by like Somali folks in the industry, like figuring it out. And we have so much Somali heavy hitters in the music industry as well. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like a big artist. Like I'm pretty sure Skepta's manager is Muslim, Somali. I'm pretty sure Tizo Touchdown's manager is Somali. Like, we're everywhere. Like, think about Daily Paper, thinking about Halima Aden, Najma Sharif. Like,
yeah.
We're literally everywhere. And I think that I just want to love on us so much, because, like, look at us. Like, we're still here. Like, through everything, we're still here. And I think that there's something to be said around how adaptable we are, how much we like being around folks and like intermingling and like being a part of culture, and we're good at the internet and we're still great with words. And I just think that I love our resilience, and I love the fact that we're like not just resilient, we're like still trying to find our joy in everything. Like we're still laughing after all of it.
I love how being Somali plays a big part in who you are.
Oh, Somali Nimotalai Demo, word to Amo, that's her saying. They made that saying. And yeah, I think it's just my mom from a very young age. English is my second language. Like I was in ESL, even though I was born here. I was put in ESL because I could not speak English, because my mom was very adamant that I learned how to speak Somali, read and write in Somali. Like I worked as a Somali translator. I've done like digital work when I was doing movement work of like making lit for like the mosques and stuff when like shit's been going down. And like I love our people. I think we're so freaking dope, and I think that I just want us to like, I want the world to know, and I want the world to feel us, because the world, we're here, and we're so, I'm just proud of us. I'm proud that
you're doing the right things for us.
And you're a great ambassador.
Yep, big shout out.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, make some noise for that. Is R&B dead?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. And I feel like a guest when I say it, when I'm like even responding to the question. I don't think it is. Like, it can't be dead. It can't be dead. I think
a lot of people feel like it is. I guess in comparison to like what R&B was in its glory days, I guess the 90s and.
I think those are the same people comparing Beyonce to Taylor Swift. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
shots fired.
No, it's just, it feels inefficient, and it feels like it's just ahistorical, and like we're looking. There's like so much evidence that R&B isn't dead. I think that we're at a deficit of like stars. You know what I mean? And I think that's not because of anybody's fault. I think we're not funding development anymore, and I think that R&B existed in a time where like labels were still developing, where people would be sent to dance boot camps and vocal lessons, and people are helping them with like media training and all these things, and that's just not the case anymore. Everybody's kind of having to DIY this shit.
Yeah.
Like there's a real life recession and like a industry recession happening, and I think that what we're watching is a lot of young people navigate a space that looks nothing like what it looked like when people were navigating it 10 years before, but are still being held to the same standard. People are doing $1 million music video budgets. Like people are making videos now for $5K
or less.
Like, or less. You know what I'm saying? And it's wild. I think that R&B is resilient. R&B has been persevering. Heartbreak is carrying us. You know. And there's just too much talent to say that it's dead. I think that's so.
You mentioned your guest though. Do you consider yourself R&B?
I mean, when I got signed, the project that I got signed with was like. Had Jersey Club and like Bengali jazz samples and house stuff, and
I love Jersey Club
and like real boom bap like beats and stuff. And I think I got to process heartbreak growing up through R&B music, and it's what I saw historically. And I think that there's like this narrative of people being ashamed to say that they want to make R&B music or whatever, or people be like, I'm this is pop, or this is R&B pop, or I'm not just hip hop or whatever. I'm like, yo, these are historically like beautiful genres with like rich ass lineages. You know what I mean? And I feel honored to be able to step into this zone or this venue of R&B music and make music within like a really great history. Yeah. So I feel like a guest in that. I don't know that I'll always make R&B, but R&B felt really appropriate for this project. Like heartbreak feels like R&B to me, and so I wouldn't have known any other way to express it. And but I also know that like R&B is a very specific thing to people, and I think about like Money Long and Jasmine Sullivan, and we don't do the same thing at all. You know what I mean? And so I still want to have self-awareness around that and have respect for that.
I just went through a breakup recently. Do you have any song recommendations to kind of help me cope with the pain?
Higher by Thames really held me down.
Okay.
Lost Ones by Jasmine Sullivan held me down when I was going through it.
Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah, all of Jasmine.
Monster.
I think that she's just
amazing.
A wizard. She's my favorite concert I've ever been to in my life. She's my favorite live performer. I've seen everybody, and no one has done, like my soul felt like it was like ascending the atmosphere. And it's just because like there are people where I'm like, oh, you are so on purpose. Like word to Kimortal. Kimortal has a song where she's like, you are not a burden, you are on purpose. Jasmine Sullivan is on purpose. Like she's walking in her purpose.
Absolutely.
If you can look at that camera again, please. Give us your top five, top five, your Mount Rushmore of R&B.
Ooh.
Shit just got real, folks.
Oh my
Please
God.
and thank you.
And these Skittles are great.
Oh my God. Can I just dedicate one statue to all the girl groups?
Whoever, yes, whatever you prefer.
No, like one, like massive, like 5. Because I just think that, like, also girl groups have carried R&B. Like, I think about SWV and Vogue. You know what I mean? I think about Escape, TLC, Destiny's Child, and then I think about legends, like R&B legends. I think about Luther Vandross. I think about Brandy. Brandy needs that. Brandy needs a face.
She is.
The vocal Bible.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Brandy enough.
I know.
I've heard people say you sound like Brandy.
Oh no, I don't. I want to be on record. I do not. Brandy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think
someone said it on YouTube.
I think people hear Brandy influences on Still, and she was a direct, like, Full Moon. Rodney Jerkins was our that was our North Star when we were making Still.
Monster producer.
Oh my lordy!
The stacks, the harmonies, and everything were very Brandy coded, and so I think that's what people are saying for sure. I aspire. I think that her voice is anointed in gold.
Yeah.
And we don't talk enough about how she feels like the blueprint for a lot of the girlies right now.
She is.
She really is. And we're still referencing Brandy, and we're still going to her albums, and we're still touching those songs. And yeah, I just think it's wild that she's here and alive, and we're not talking about her more. I'm just like, this is a legend amongst us, you know?
I want to ask you a question, and you mentioned it earlier, but I wasn't sure. Are you trans?
I'm non-binary. Yeah, I'm trans non-binary.
Okay, what does that mean? Educate me.
It means that I don't identify with the gender I was assigned at birth. Like, I don't identify as a woman, and I don't identify as a man, and so I don't think about my gender as like a binary thing.
Understood.
Okay. Somewhere
fluid.
Sometimes I identify with like more masculine gender presentations, and sometimes I'm really high femme and I'm like bimboed down, you know. And I think that my gender identity feels really fluid for me and often changing, and non-binary just feels like a good umbrella for me.
Recently, there's been like a lot of conversation, particularly when it comes to trans men. Trans women competing in women's sports. Have you seen any of that conversation? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that trans women should be allowed to compete with women. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think there's a lot of conversations around like gendering sports, period. And I think that like all the statistics and all the things that folks reference around like numbers, around like, oh, there's an advantage. None of that's been proven. Like it's never been proven. You know what I mean? And if it was a thing, we would hear more about it. You know, I think if it was a thing that folks could really reference in reality, the Republicans and the conservative pundits would be banging our heads over with like, these are the numbers. A lot of the stuff isn't real. It's based on like cultural tropes that people create to actively bar people from access to resources. I watch sports because I want to see God in the room. That's why I watch my favorite musicians. I want to see, I love the Olympics. I love watching FIFA. I want to see, like my friend Sabah said that statement to me. I want to see God in the room. It's the idea of like getting to see what the human body can do. It's miraculous. It's like it feels spiritual to be like, oh my God, the human body could jump that high. I just want to see what the human body can do in a non-gendered way, and I want to see people like that have trained for these things do the thing. If we're here and we really care about sportsmanship and we want to see sports advance, let fucking people play.
Yeah.
That's all I think we should be saying to people. Let everybody play.
Yeah, and you don't think there's like physical difference when it comes to like men and women in terms of like strength, explosiveness, speed? I
think that we've seen women who could like curb stomp men, you know what I mean? Like cis women who could curb stomp cis men. And I think that there are no statistics to support that would actually be the case, you know what I mean? And I think that, again, if it was a thing, like a real thing based in action, like they're going off of the cultural tropes of what we think about cis people and cis bodies. And I think that they're lucky because you can say something like that's that vague, and you can prey on what people just assume is normal instead of actually being factual and taking a critical lens to think about stuff. And yeah, I think let trans women play, let trans men play. And then we'll see. You know what I mean? And there's nothing to see because the statistics will always support the things that trans women and trans men have been saying. Yeah.
No, I'm just.
How much time do we got?
We have about like another 6 minutes.
6 minutes.
Yeah.
The Canadian music scene. Yeah.
Hold on. Do you feel like you're part of the Canadian music scene right now?
I do.
Okay.
Definitely. I'm proud of it too. I hope folks feel like it. If folks are like, nah, you're not, then cool. You know what I mean? I don't want to, but I feel like it for sure.
Good.
I think going to remix, I feel like made me feel sturdier in that identity for sure.
For some reason, I feel like Vancouver claimed you. Do they claim you too?
Vancouver, well, I have like one of my really good friends, like one of my family members in this music thing is Prado Monroe. I think she's the queen of Vancouver, the queen of the West Side. I think she's the most interesting artist.
I love her
Canada.
songs. She's
just so interesting and she's just so special. And like, I think that all of Vancouver should want Prado to succeed. She would be the best ambassador, and I think there should be, and I'm calling everyone out, there should be a collective effort to make sure Prado shit goes.
I know, it's crazy.
Because she cares about her city so much.
Her music is so unique.
It's smart, it's brilliant, she's producing this stuff, she's writing the songs, she's making these music videos, she pours all her love and heart into this stuff.
Idman, he's capping again, he doesn't know who that is.
Oh, you're wild.
Oh my God.
The Canadian music scene. How do you feel about it, especially when it comes to R&B? I'm
so proud of it.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of it. Like people are really not fucking with us. Like
when
I think about like the U.S. versus Canada, like I think about like how much obstacles we all have, like what that glass ceiling looks like, and how good our shit still is. Like Savannah Ray is it to me. You know what I mean?
Give me some names because I need to
Savannah Ray
get up to date with my Canadian R&B collection here.
I said Savannah Ray. Sad Boy. Potential is crazy.
Sad Boy, we want you on the podcast.
Yeah, pull up.
Good, so freaking good.
I'm all up in your DM.
And she's also like a good person and a sweetie pie, and just like has an amazing heart. I think about Dylan Sinclair. I think everything he's been doing is so great. His voice is so sweet.
Okay.
I think about Naeem, that Somali boy.
Naeem,
is he R&B? I feel like he's a.
Yeah, what is he, like alternative rap? Maybe?
Yeah. You know what? I hate putting labels on people.
But I love his voice.
Great.
I heard that Molly Star song 2 days ago on a Spotify playlist. And that shit
super.
shook me. I was like, Somali niggas up on the rise here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to think who else. I said Prado. Prado's an incredible artist. I think she makes pop, hyper pop, and I think she does lean into R&B. She could if she wants to. I think Christina Alcordo is dope, and she's from Toronto as well. I'm just throwing so many.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Benita. Benita is so special and such an amazing singer and so awesome. And I think like even on some of my earlier songs, Benita used to do BGVs for me. And so shout out to Benita. She works with OTR now too. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm. No one's fucking with us. Like I don't think anyone's fucking with Canadian R&B right now.
No.
So I had this conversation with another guy. I forgot his name.
Roy Woods. I consider him R&B too.
Yeah.
He was telling me that Canadian R&B is becoming like the staple for R&B worldwide.
Yeah.
And labels are turning to Canada to look for R&B artists more than they are in the U.S. Is that an actual thing, or am I just shooting the shit here?
I think that there's like a culture now in Canada where I think that we can kind of, like there are obstacles, but I think about like the grant system and our ability to kind of develop in a specific way. I think that looks really enticing to folks from other parts of the world. And also Toronto and Canada is way more of that like cultural melting pot that like the U.S. acts like it is. The U.S. projects that narrative in a way that we actually live that shit. And I think that to grow up in like a culture where like there's so much Afrobeat exposed to you, so much dancehall music exposed to you, like African music from other parts of the continent exposed to you, I think that there's just like a lens of if we like the R&B music here, you know that it's going to translate to the folks that we want to share music with.
Speaking of which, what other Afrobeat countries do you think that should be more highlighted more?
Well, I don't know. Afrobeat as a genre is very specific to a region, and I think that just African music, period. I want to see more music from East Africa. Like
Tanzania.
I want to see more Kenyan music. Like I was raised on Sauti Sol, you know what I mean? And Diamond Platinums and Ali Kiba, and I want to see more of those artists thrive. And I think that even being Somali, I think about like Black is King was based in East Africa and had the project had not a single lick of East Africans on it or like singing on it, and that's where regionally the movie is based. And I think that I want to know, and I'm curious about what the cultural zeitgeist could gain from having contemporary contributions from East Africa. I think we'd all be better for it.
Absolutely.
Are you media trained?
No.
I love listening to you talk, man. You
God,
seem
no,
like
I know.
Or-
She has the best answers for everything.
Sorry.
No. it's
Honestly,
great.
Idman, I appreciate you coming out. I wish you all the success
One more
in this
question.
world.
What's next for you?
Ooh.
Ooh, what's next for me? So now I think I'm in like this era of performing now. Like we didn't think that because of my diagnosed anxiety, we just didn't think that me being able to perform would be a part of this career for me. And so we set everything up so that I'd be fine if I never performed live. And in May, I went on my first ever tour, and it was like the first time I'd ever held a mic in front of a group of people to sing outside of my remix graduation. And it was for like sold out shows, and I love it now. It's like where I feel the freest, and so definitely a lot more live performances. I launched my media company and my label publicly next year, which I'm excited about. I think we're going to Australia in October to do an activation with South by Southwest Sydney for Golly Gang, our media company. I look forward to. I really want to get into like the contract justice side of music and like really like get creative around how to
Read the contracts.
How to teach folks around how to structure their deals and how to, like I want to do a lot of artist advocacy work for sure. Definitely,
I see that for you, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're gonna be doing Golly Gang. I want us to do furniture design and fragrance, and acting is gonna be a thing for us too. And so I'm excited. I think what's next just looks fruitful, and yeah, I want it. So inshallah,
We'll be right here cheering for you.
Yeah, if you're looking for an actor, like to play like anything, let me know.
My big brother.
Oh yeah, cool. Let's make it happen. Thank you so much for coming out. We appreciate you.
We appreciate it. Yes.
And again, I really, sincerely hope you succeed in more and kill it and get these Grammys and make this shit pop.
And let Rich Kid know he owes me a beat. Okay. Yeah. Because we had a bet a couple years back, but he probably forgot.
We're gonna finish this off with Steven by Prado Monroe. See, I know this shit. You don't, sir.
He feels great.
Jeez.
This video was insane.
It was. She killed the video. Come on now, you know this shit?
No.
This is fire. I can't believe she's not as big as she's supposed to be.
Wild. She's wild.
Anyways, this is Steady Mobbin. This is Idman. This is Glory, the short review. This is Black Mob. We're at Waterfront Studios. We got our man over here, Rich Kid.
Rich Kid! The OG.
The OG, the man. The myth.
Pioneer. The
We
architect.
out. We out. Bang, 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 bang.